Broadcasting from the Space Coast of Florida, this is The Savaged Unfiltered with Michael Gardner, a Anchor FM podcast.
Halliday presents, in the red corner, the undisputed, undefeated Weed Whacker Guy. Champion of hurling grass and pollen everywhere. And in the blue corner, the challenger, extra strength, Halliday. Eye drops that work all day to prevent the release of histamines that cause itchy allergy eyes. And the winner by knockout is Halliday. Halliday, bring it on.
This program contains subject matter and language that may be disturbing to some viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
Savaged Unfiltered. Your host, Michael Gardner.
Alrighty, guys. Welcome to today's show. Welcome, guys. Back to my normal self. Guys, I was tired as shit yesterday. I still did a show. I was a little annoyed, but, I'm not going to bitch and moan. I was supposed to have a guest on the show. He kind of canceled on me twice. The first time we were supposed to have him like towards the end of August, and then something happened where, he had strep throat, or I don't know. It was like bits and pieces of the email that he sent, myself and Mackenzie. And then we were supposed to have him on again, to reschedule it for yesterday. And apparently he was having some thunderstorm issues. So it went from strep throat to thunderstorms. So I don't know. Whatever his deal is, it's okay. I mean, not going to bitch and moan. I still carried the show. I had to change the entire forum and the panel yesterday, but it is what it is. Sometimes you get those cancellations and you really can't do anything about it. Everybody has lives, nobody, and I will say this, nobody revolves around me, or I don't revolve around anybody. Everybody has their own lives. I kind of said that right. But guys, welcome to the show, guys. We got an announcement here. We're going to say here on the show before we dig into the topics. Guys, I want to get into a major announcement. I want to thank two huge platforms for accepting the show. One, hat tip to Pandora Music app. Thank you very much. It's been a long time in the making. Been trying to get on that platform for like almost a year now. So thank you very much, Pandora. And I also want to thank a huge thank you to iHeartRadio. That's right, guys. We are now available on iHeartRadio. What does that mean? On these two platforms, you can hear the very first episode going to the last current episode, which was aired yesterday. Okay. So, wow. Huge news. Let's dig into it, guys. On the panel today is my good friend and the good friend of the show here, Joseph M. Leonard. He is the author of his very best-selling book, Terror Strikes, Coming to a City Near You. Joseph, how's it going, buddy?
Going pretty good. Yeah, I'm glad you're with iHeartRadio. I use that app. I like that app. They're very good.
Yeah, we're getting tremendous feedback as well too. I think the number one episode so far is Deflection. God, almost like 8-9 episodes now. So you're going to want to check that out. Getting tremendous feedback on that, Joseph. Tremendous.
Yeah, absolutely. And that, that ties in with the Chaos episode today. Definitely. If you've not listened to episode 313, Deflection, you want to listen to that. You want to listen to episode 317, Extremism, and 322, We the People Have Had a Bleeping Enough.
I hear you, Joseph. I hear you. I mean, they've had enough. They really had enough. And I just don't understand. I don't understand. Why people are still going on with this nonsense. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. How there can still be so many people out there that are willing to consider themselves fascocrats with all that is going on, and as extreme as that party has gone, where, there are no moderate Democrats left. they've all buried their head up their hindside, and whatever the AOCs of the world want to babble, they're more than happy to go along with. And it's sad. JFK must be rolling in his grave these days.
Oh yeah, I mean, you're not saying anything new. I mean, did you see the latest shit that's coming out of New York? New York Attorney General Lydia James. I think that's how you say her first name, Lydia James. Yeah, she filed a suit. Yeah.
Isn't it Letitia James?
Letitia, is that how you say it? Letitia.
I thought there was an S in it. Yeah, that's how I hear it pronounced when they talk about her on Newsmax. Anyway, Letitia James. So, yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, the latest witch hunt. She can't trump up enough criminal charges because there's nothing there, no evidence to be able to file criminal charges against Trump. So now she's filing a civil suit against Donald Sr., Donald Jr., Eric, and Ivanka Trump for supposed business practices and padding values, which is quite a joke. Who on the planet, when they're buying a house, doesn't try to lowball the property value? Who in their life goes to sell a house and doesn't try to highball the value? And when it comes tax time, you lowball it so you pay in less taxes. So, I mean, everybody on the planet has ever done that. If she owns property, if she bought or sold a property ever, I want her investigated for the same baloney she's trying to trump up against the Trumps.
Yeah. I mean, this is an unusual, angle that she's taken, Joseph. Now, Miss James, she also cited that the Trump's family Mar-a-Lago property down here in Florida. Now, the suit, which she has that part of her lawsuit, right? The lawsuit alleges that the Trumps valued as high as $739 million. I didn't know that property was worth that much, but hey, it's a big set of property. I mean, I've driven past it many times. I'm only roughly about 2.5 hours north of Mar-a-Lago, and I can tell you right now, it's becoming, this whole shit right now is becoming the biggest witch hunt, literally, in modern history, Joseph. She's also going after, like you said, she's going after the Trumps. She's going after Ivanka. She's going after Eric. I mean, everybody that's a Trump, pretty much. She's basically pressing it. Also, hold on, Joseph. Also stating that the Attorney General's office has pursued cases previously alleging fraudulent property valuations. But they're pretty much saying that this goes back to 2016 with a criminal case that the office charged New York City landlord Stephen Croman. Did you hear that one?
No, I hadn't heard that one.
Well, supposedly Stephen Croman submitted false mortgage documents to banks, including by listing market rate rents for these rent stabilized units. I guess they were apartments or condos or something. Yeah. It doesn't really specify, because I read the article a couple days ago, and little by little it's coming out. So I don't know.
Well,
one witch hunt after the
next. This should be tossed. I mean, the judge, number one, she doesn't have standing. How is she harmed? Did she attempt to buy the property and couldn't secure loans because he overvalued? That would be the only way she could potentially be a litigant in such a suit. The only people who have standing would be like Deutsche Bank or somebody who.
Tell me about it. Yeah, I don't mean to cut you in, but I want to bring in my good friend here. Welcome to the show. How are you doing, Nicole?
One day at a time, my friend. One day at a time. I've got about 10 minutes before I got to get going because I got to get to work. I'm one thing to the next,
Yeah, I hear you. What we're talking about is this ridiculous angle with this New York suit against Trump. Letitia, however you say her first name, the New York Attorney General, that she's filing the suit. What's your insight on that, Nicole?
Wait, just give me a little background because my mind is in school right now and good.
I hear you. This is the New York Attorney. That's pretty much
Matchmaker.fm is the platform to connect guests with podcasters. Podcasters find your dream guests instantly based on their area of expertise. Filter by location, search based on keywords, and you can even get to know your guests by watching their video pitch. Found someone interesting? No problem. Contact guests instantly via chat and schedule a time to record. No more backwards and forwards via email. It's everything you need to manage your show and tell amazing stories. Guests easily connect with thousands of podcasters who are looking to interview storytellers and experts just like you right now. Easily find podcasts based on their category, location, and more, and pitch them directly within Matchmaker. Book more appearances more quickly and share your wisdom with millions of listeners all over the world. The best part? It's completely free to get started. Just sign up, choose whether you want to create a profile for your podcast or as a guest, or you can do both. Fill out a few details about yourself and you'll be ready to start making those connections within minutes.
The New York Attorney, that's pretty much stating that all the properties that Donald Trump had when he was living in New York City prior to his presidency, he committed a lot of false type of accusations against possible tenants. And I mean, they're going after Trump, they're going after the family, they're going after Eric. This woman is pretty much saying that, all his stuff, all his value, all his property is pretty much, it's all suspicious.
Overinflated, supposedly, yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. So.
Well, Newsmax did a good job the other day.
Yeah.
Some reasonable investigative reporting that most media won't do. And the main thing was the Fifth Avenue property, and they evaluated what other properties actually sold for. And they sold for, in general, around the price of the valuation he was claiming or more. And those properties were pretty well deemed to not quite be, the stature.
Savaged, unfiltered.
Of his. So,
yeah.
I mean, they just need to present actual sale values to the judge to say, and number one, again, she has no standing. A bank may have standing, but she's not aggrieved as a party in any of this.
Well, what about all the legal stuff that, Governor Murphy has done over the years in New Jersey? I mean, I don't reside in Jersey, but I mean, if you want to talk about suspicious activity, I don't know if Nicole can relate to this, but I mean, there's a lot of suspicious activity going on just in the state of New Jersey with Governor Murphy. I mean, he's got a lot of suspicious deals going on, a lot of property that should be looked into. So let's look into that, right?
Yeah, and I'm sure Nicole can speak to this. This is only semi-related, but I mean, all the Biden family corruption, and what about the stock trade garbage that we just went through with the Pelosi's, the insider trading? So I mean, there's plenty of actual criminal statutes to go at some of these Democrats with, and I'm not a hyper-partisan hack. There are some rhinos, obviously, that engaged in illegal activity too. Root them all out. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. But none of this one set of standards for the left and another set of standards for everybody else.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I just want to make sure. Nicole, are you still with us? Hello? I'm not really sure if she can hear us or not.
I'm still here. I'm still here.
Okay. Yeah.
I feel like, I mean, just getting the Reader's Digest version. As Mike will tell you, I'm a registered, Republican. I'm also on paper, I'm a single mom. So like on paper, a single mom wouldn't necessarily fall into the category of, being all about capitalism and being all about building your wealth. It feels like she's hiding something. So she's going to turn around and blame it on Trump because you know how many Trump haters we have. She's covering something up by finding something to niche at and finding something to quote unquote investigate or, have her hand in something so that way her other hand's not, red,
Yeah, the usual fascicrats, as I call them, projection and deflection, like we opened at the beginning of the show, episode 313. People need to listen to the deflection episode. That you're exactly alluding to that. They have to take people's eyes off the ball of what they're guilty of by projecting guilt onto others. And it's the same old thing over and over. And she campaigned literally. The tape is out there. You could probably find it even on YouTube if they haven't scrubbed it, where she said, I am going to indict Trump on something. Doesn't matter what. She will create a crime to do it.
Well, exactly that. She had to look for something. And now she's using this as her quote unquote something. Now, see here, I wonder if the tables were turned and her family built all this wealth and she built something from nothing and, has regardless how it started, but what if the tables were turned? Would she appreciate what she's doing to somebody else? Just because you don't like the guy on a personal level doesn't mean you need to, try to find something,
Well, I was about to say, I mean, Nicole, have you read that article? This was on the Wall Street Journal just earlier today. And I read this article, and everything in this article, it just shows nothing but hogwash. Literally, it sounds like this woman has like a personal vendetta against the former president.
I was reading about Big Pharma and how, that I was in school all day. So I was, discussing Big Pharma and how they control everything. And ironically, it just goes hand in hand with all of this.
Yeah.
If you got money, you got control. And, reality is if you look at these people with all this money and all this quote unquote control, they're miserable sons of bitches who have to nitpick on somebody else to, get a cheap thrill, and it's not a cheap thrill at the expense of the person getting fucked with.
You alluded at something there, Nicole. Money doesn't buy happiness. A lot of these people with money are miserable because they lack a soul.
Well, and that's exactly that. People like, all right. So one of the things that we did I'm in school full time. I work full time. I'm raising 2 kids. And one of the things that we had to take away from our lesson on, and mind you, I'm in the process of getting a medical license. So it's a vocational medical license, but a medical license in all. So it doesn't matter. We had to stop doing what we were doing in the middle of the freaking day to discuss, Constitution Day. All right, that's fine and great and all, but at least do it on the day that you're supposed to discuss it, which was the 17th of September, not the 20th of September. Let's not waste. I'm paying a lot of money to go to this school. Let me waste all this money to go to this school to talk about something that, half the people in my class didn't even know what the Constitution was. Like, that's an insult. Like, how do you?
Well, that's why we instituted Patriot Week here in Michigan, and that's why I say Constitution Day is a federal holiday, because otherwise some people don't hear anything about the Constitution except for when the fascicrats are twisting and mangling it into something that it isn't.
A good friend of mine didn't even know what the Fourth Amendment was, didn't know what Article 2 was. And here I'm spitting out these facts like nobody's business. And I got pissed off the other day in class and I got up and I'm like, you want to teach us this? I said, you aren't even qualified. I said, I have a minor in history. I said, and I recited the preamble in front of the entire class and they looked at me like I was crazy. And I'm like, this is what our Constitution is.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is one of the reasons, guys. This is one of the reasons, Joseph. I used to be, a resident of New Jersey as well. I mean, I lived in New Jersey, I lived in New York, and I can tell you, I am so glad I am away from Liberalville. I really am. I mean, it's this is the shit why people are moving out of New York, out of New Jersey. They're moving to Florida because they see freedom. They see opportunity here. They don't see the same shit that's been going on in those two liberal leftist states for the last 50 plus years.
Yeah, and let's make a distinction. Ignorance is one thing. We are all ignorant of things until we bother to research and learn about them. But leftists are stupid, and they choose to remain stupid and uninformed and uneducated.
Oh yeah, you ain't lying about that. So we're gonna Nicole. I think you only have you said you only have 10 minutes.
Michael Gardner, uncut, raw, uncensored.
Okay, yeah. If you'd like, I mean, you could depart now. I mean, if you like, we don't want you to miss work or anything like that. But
yeah, that's a necessity, because I'm not one of those system sucking lousy liberals.
No, I know her very well, Joseph. She's a hardworking woman. Hardworking woman raising 2 kids. It's hard, but and I'm
in a domestic violence situation. You know what pisses me off about our country? Okay, let's. Can I mind you, Mike? Can I 2 seconds? Can I go on a full rant for 2 seconds? Because it all goes hand in hand. What pisses me off? Okay, so now we have October coming up, right? And we have everyone in the month of October, we talk about breast cancer awareness, we talk about lupus awareness, we talk about childhood cancer awareness. There's a bunch of awareness things in the month of October. You know what fucked up, and for me personally, it hurts my heart, because October is also Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Bringing awareness to something that to a crime. And look at what you don't really hear about Domestic Violence Awareness Month. You hear about breast cancer awareness. Everybody wear pink. You hear about lupus. Everyone wear purple. You hear about childhood cancer awareness. Everyone wear yellow. You do not hear about Domestic Violence Awareness Month. You want to know why? Because Big Pharma controls all the money that goes into cancer awareness. You donate money to cancer awareness, any form of cancer, whether it be, ovarian, breast, lymphatic, it doesn't matter. Whatever form of cancer you're donating money to, you're giving to that cause. You're giving your hard-earned money to a cure for that cause. Guess what? That's Big Pharma building money. Well, there's no Big Pharma in domestic violence, but it's a crime that needs to be brought out.
Domestic abuse shelters don't have lobbyists, Nicole.
No, they don't.
No,
they don't have protection. They don't have any of that. And it's infuriating. Yeah.
Nicole, did you hear? I know you got to leave, but I want to get your insights right before you leave here. Did you hear what the liberal leftists now, corporate media, they're trying to erase the term woman to replace it with birthing people. Did you see that come out yet?
Yeah, birthing people, my fucking ass. You cannot. You cannot. I am a mother of 2. And it's funny when Mike, when you brought this to my attention last night, I'm like, what? I'm like, my birth, and automatically in my head, I'm like, oh, my birthing, quote unquote, birthing days were, my 2 kids' birthdays. Okay. Well, I gave birth on those days. So that's my right to celebrate those days. That's my quote unquote birthing day. Okay. The day I was born on was May 22nd. The day I gave birth were 2 other days of the year, so it.
Hey guys, great news. We have officially been launched to the Pandora app. That's right, guys. Pandora Music has officially welcomed the Savage Unfiltered with Michael Gardner podcast, guys. We are thrilled to be part of the Pandora family. First and foremost, guys, I want to thank everyone, all the fans out there, all the listeners that have been tuning into the Savage Unfiltered podcast with Michael Gardner since the very start, guys. It's a tremendous honor. It's the gratitude. I can't say more than enough, guys. So thank you very much to all my fans out there, all my listeners that have been tuning into this show since 2019. And for the new people that's been listening into the show, thank you very much.
much. Folks, it means a lot. Thank you very much. You're going to want to look out, guys, for some amazing content to be launched on Pandora. Check it out, guys.
A woman to birthing day? So you mean somebody without ovaries is no longer a woman? You mean somebody that, your defamation of a woman who can't have children for some kind of biological or, medical issue that caused them to prevent them from having children. So what the fuck do you call them? What the fuck do you call you defend? You know what I mean? Like that's some fucked up shit.
Yeah, I'm surprised Nicole hadn't heard of this before. I wrote about the birthing person manure, the latest political correctness, all the way back on July 31st of 2021. And you could see my articles at tinyurl.com/JLD articles. And Nicole, if you get a minute here or there, because I know how busy you are, check out my Are You a Mother or a Birthing Person article at tinyurl.com/JLD articles.
A mother or birthing person. That is such a defamation of a character of a woman.
It's sick. It really is. It's disgusting.
And while defamation of character by definition is somebody that loses money and isn't what they are, well, guess what? I am what I am. I am a woman and I'm a mother. So if you're going to sit there and tell me that I'm just a birthing person, you're defaming my character because I'm raising my children. I'm a mother to them. I pick them up when they fall. I make sure that they've got food in their bellies. I make sure that I provide. I'm a mom, regardless of whether
Amen.
My teenager hates me right now, but you know what? My teenager can hate me tomorrow. That when she's 30, she'll be my best friend. It's fine. It's just, it's so fucked up. What about
You're not there to be her friend right now. You are there to be her parent, her mother. Absolutely. Amen, Nicole.
And then that's what we get with the pussy society. And excuse me for saying it like that. You got the pussy little participation bitch ass society where it's you can't reprimand your child. You can't punish your child. Maybe this state attorney of New York never got her ass beat as a kid. Maybe she never got punished. She's looking for something to be entitled with. Maybe mommy and daddy and her precious little trust fund put her through college and she never had to work for it like I did, paying for my textbooks and singles. Maybe she doesn't know what that's like. And I don't mean singles from being a stripper. I mean singles from being a bartender. But that's not the point. The point is she doesn't understand.
Yeah, no, none of these entitlement crowd participation trophy brats, like you said. Look at John Uncle Festerman in Pennsylvania. He lived with his parents and collected a check, $50,000 allowance a year from his parents well into his 40s. And he's campaigning on being a man of the people in Pennsylvania. Joseph,
what do you think? Yeah, Joseph, where do you think all that money came from, man? It came from lobbyists, special donors. I mean, they live off that shit, man.
Yeah. Now, I'm no fan of Dr. Oz. I think he's an Oprah butt boy still. He still says she's a close personal friend and a trusted advisor. Well, frankly, anything Oprah tells you, you should do the opposite, in my opinion. But I would vote for a pet rock over Festerman in Pennsylvania.
Really?
Even a John McCain or a Mitt Romney or another idiot like Murkowski or Collins would be better than communist Festerman, who has never worked a day in his life, just like Joe Biden. Never worked a day in his life.
Hey, Joseph, what about, what'd you call her the other day when we did that music episode, Lady Gag Me?
Yeah, Lady Gag Me, yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. I tell you, I mean, Nicole's on fire. I mean, she's full of passion. Nicole, I got a question to ask you. When is the rants coming back?
With school right now, I need to focus on this license and getting this license, because this license is going to be able to put put Cole to Diamonds and collectively Cole on a different level, that I earned, on a different level that I worked for, not on a different level where mommy and daddy fed me with the fucking spoon. Because let me tell you something, my mom, she's a nurse. She's a hard working fucking nurse. My dad, when he was alive, he was a tractor trailer driver. He drove trucks for a fucking living. My parents are hard ass working individuals. While they might be assholes, they're hard ass working individuals. And if anything, we were raised to work for what we have. And I might not have a lot, but let me tell you something. It's all mine. I owe nobody nothing. And that is the best feeling ever. I don't owe anybody anything.
Yeah, this woman comes from a blue collar family, Joseph. She gets it, man. She might, not have the greatest language in the world as, coming out of
but let me tell you something. My dad was a tractor trailer and a sailor. So I got it from both ends. Oh, and another thing is, and psychologists will tell you this, cursing is a sign of intelligence. Let me tell you something. I'm a fucking genius.
Well, cursing does reduce anxiety and stress. It is a great reliever of issues. So
I'd rather tell somebody to fuck off than punch him in the face. Come on now. Wouldn't you rather tell somebody to fuck off than punch him in the face?
Absolutely, Nicole. You're absolutely right there. Now, I tend to try to keep it clean even on Savaged Unfiltered because I'm on terrestrial radio a lot and you got the FCC crap. So I want to keep it clean always, even though I swear a lot in my own personal life. But on air, I try to keep it clean so I don't slip when I'm on terrestrial.
Joseph, I have to add, I catch some of your work on terrestrial radio over there in the Detroit area. And I have to say, buddy, you try your damnest, man, to try to keep composure on that show. You really do. I can see sometimes when you're like talking on that and like you're right there. I mean, you're right about ready to like slip. That's why Nicole, hold on, Joseph.
I get a little more heated on your show because again, I can. But on terrestrial, you've got to stay calm.
I was about to say, Nicole, he steps over me a lot, but I give him the floor a lot. That's why he loves coming on my show because he's like, Michael, I can be myself. I can be unfiltered. On terrestrial radio, we can't do this.
That's fucked up though. Like it's fucked up that we can't be ourselves. And it's fucked up, like that we have to put on this quote unquote front in society. Why? Putting on a front is fake. Why?
Yeah.
Why can't I tell somebody that pissed me off that they pissed me off? Why do I have to sugarcoat shit? You wonder why we're in a quote unquote pussy nation where the participation trophy shit, because everyone has to sugarcoat shit. What about these pronouns and all this bullshit? Do you know that this is a phase that these people are going through? Do you know we had this conversation in my nutrition class the other day about how it's in our fucking foods and it's in the fucking shit we eat. Like gut instinct. Well, guess what? Our gut instinct, we have that motor sensory. Well, our brain talks to our stomach and our stomach talks to our brain. There's no coincidence why everybody nowadays has some form of anxiety or depression. What the fuck are they putting in our foods? What the fuck are they putting into our thoughts? Come on.
Yeah. Well, I will just say in response to Nicole, I don't want our kids hearing that on AM radio, so I agree to some degree with FCC having some guidelines and rules, between the hours of 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. or whatever the hours, regulations are. So we don't want our kids talking like that.
Well, Joseph, this is what separates, podcasting, whether it's Spotify, or, iHeartRadio. That's what separates podcasting from terrestrial radio.
But it's crap because every kid has access to everything. Look at their little iPhones that are in their fucking hands. You mean to tell me that, they don't have access to everything? They have access to everything. Shit, my son who's 9 years old knows how to do more with his phone than I do with mine. And I'm 36. Yeah. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joseph, I have to say one thing. I think if we have Nicole on here again, we have to give the rant name to Nicole, not Jimmy. Nicole the rant, not Jimmy the rant. Yeah.
Well, the internet is the wild, wild west, Nicole. Exactly. So, there needs to be advisory warnings of that. But you're right. Your 9-year-old can indeed find Savage Unfiltered and listen to this. But I do still have a degree of morals, and I do want to protect children as best we can.
See, I'd rather be the one educating my child than some schmuck off the street. I'd rather be the one telling my child, hey, this is good, or hey, this is bad, because it's me. When my child wants their first drink when they're 21 years old, I want my child to get shit-faced in front of me, because guess what? At the end of the day, I'm the one that birthed that person. Their birthing person. Don't mean to say that. I'm the one that brought that child into the world.
You fell
I
into
want
the
them to
trap
experience
there.
that with me, because you know what? They're safer with me than they are anybody else. They're safer with me than you.
I absolutely agree with you on there. And with that, school issues and education as a whole is a whole other topic. And Michael's heard me say this before. The public schools, why we have to have school choice. You've got to have control over your own tax dollar to decide where your kids go to learn reading, writing, and arithmetic. And I throw in their history, what we used to call the 3 R's. Now they teach radicalism, raunch, and racism through CRT. Yep. It's all bullshit in the schools now.
Yeah.
Yep, it is.
Yeah.
But I got to get going, guys. Joe, it was nice talking to you. Mike, I'll catch up with you later on in the day.
It was great
Nicole,
having you swear at me.
Thank you. We'll talk soon.
Yep.
It was great having you swear at me, Nicole. Take care. God bless.
Got it. Bye.
Got to keep a sense of humor. Got to keep
absolutely.
Yeah, she's great.
She's a hoot, Mike. I like her. I got to meet her.
Yeah. She's a great friend of mine. I've known her forever. Guys, you just heard Nicole from her show, which she should be coming back on when she gets her stuff all together. She's going through like transitions, as you heard on the show. But guys, when she goes back on her show, you can catch her on Collectively Cole. Some of her political rants are literally on point. The woman is literally like the female version of our personality here on the show, Jimmy the Rant, but like on another fucking level. I mean, literally everything she says, I mean, she can back up with it on point after point after point. Joseph, this is literally, you want to know about like who the true Jersey girl is? This is it right here. I mean, you see it right on here.
Going back to standards and practices, they couldn't put her on Jersey Shore.
Oh, no. She would kill it with the ratings, man, literally. I mean, the would be off the freaking chain. I mean, so some of the stuff that comes out of her mouth, I told her, I said, Nicole, you got to get back on the airwaves. Joseph, I was just talking to her like just the other day, and we talk a lot, off the air, whether it's myself or, Mackenzie and stuff. And we literally, I mean, we were like, Nicole, you got to get back with Collectively Cole. I mean, you had such a great audience, but she's going to school. She's trying to get her her medical certificate and everything else for, she wants to do a lot of different things. So, I understand.
Yeah. Oh, before we get too much further, usually we joke at the top of the show a lot. And I forgot, I wanted to tell this because you're calling the show Chaos. So I wanted for us older folks will remember Maxwell Smart, the Get Smart show. Chaos was the villain crew destroying America, while the Fascocrats are the real chaos organization of the Maxwell Smart days, literally destroying America nowadays. Where is Maxwell Smart when we need him?
Yeah. Where's he at?
You remember that show, Mike? Get Smart?
What year is this going?
He had the shoe phone.
Yeah, what year was that, Joseph?
Oh, that was in the 70s. It may have even started in the 60s. So it's a long time ago.
Yeah, that's well before my time. I think I was like a little sperm back then, Joseph.
They made a movie, I think, in the 80s, a spoof. So, but if you get a chance to catch an old Maxwell Get Smart episode, you could probably find it on YouTube. They were funny. They were hilarious. It was a spoof on the CIA kind of thing. It was a CIA spoof. Maxwell Smart was an idiot, and he was supposedly their top agent. So It
Oh,
was
really?
fun. It was a fun show, but it had serious, important undertone points like we're referring to today, which is why I wanted to mention it. I mean, it was a big joke then, but it's literal today. This is literally the Chaos Group, and they are destroying America.
Yeah, they are destroying America. Hold that thought, Joseph. I have to get into something here. I was supposed to get into it in about 10 minutes, but I literally let Nicole have the floor because, I mean, she was just spitting out like fact after fact after fact. Guys, I got some really, really good announcements here on the show. Wow, I'm still blown away by Nicole. She's great. Anyway, if you head over to the CHISPA of Florida, what is that, guys? It's a great organization. It's the Florida Conservation Voters, right? The organization for conservatism in Florida, which is being attacked every single day. Head over there to that website, CHISPAFlorida.org. Check them out today, guys. They really, really need your help because, like I mentioned, guys, conservatism in Florida is getting attacked literally every single day. Every single day. Also, too, guys, if you head over to Protect Voting Rights of Florida, there's an organization here in Florida which they want you to use the hashtag voting rights and let @MoveOn know. Head over to their centers. They're all over, usually in like voter registration offices and stuff like that. Pick up the sticker, display your sticker proudly to show the world that you support voting rights. The right voting rights. Voter integrity needs to be strong in this country. That's all I had to say, guys. Some important announcements I wanted to throw out there because I was at the Republican registration office just earlier today. And they're basically going to be endorsing my show. So thank you very much to the Central Florida Republican Committees. Hat tip. Thank you very much. I have to do a clap. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Back here to the show, Joseph. I want to get into this new trending thing that I see where Nicole kind of dug into it a little bit with the pronouns. If you remember when she got into pronouns, this new thing now that they're trying to push, where now every tomboy here is literally being tagged transgender.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff.
Yeah, I just saw on Newsmax a couple hours ago a gay man. I don't know his name. I don't recall it, but he is one of the guys as a gay man who founded one of the first ever gay pride parades. And he was literally assaulted by some transgender nuts earlier today. They attacked him. The LGBT community is now kind of at war with the TQ community because, and we mentioned this during I think maybe it was Bill Hatch's Not Quite After Midnight show I was on yesterday. I mentioned it. There's a group called Gays Against Groomers. Now, I know some gays and lesbians, and they know my Christian stance on traditional marriage, and we get along just fine because they are about tolerance and acceptance, not gaytivism, which is the term I created. Gay activism, gaytivism, because the T and the Q are gaytivists. They are radical, pedophile, that they're behind the trans story hours crap. They're literally here in Michigan as part of one of our ballot initiatives trying to eliminate the statutory rape laws. So a 20, 30, 40-year-old man can have sex with a 10-year-old girl without consequence.
That's disgusting.
The gay and lesbian community are saying, like, we told them all along, the slippery slope. We were going to go here eventually, and they refused to believe it. Well, here we are, pushing pedophilia. That's what it's come down to. And gays and lesbians across the nation are waking up and saying, whoa, I never signed on to that crap. And it's like Greenpeace. The founder of Greenpeace left that organization too because they have gone into communism, not environmentalism.
Well,
they
we'll
always
get this.
go too far.
Yeah, we'll get this, man. This is what they're saying here. They're saying that the number of young Americans who describe themselves as transgender, over, this past decade, which is anybody that doesn't know what a decade is, it's 10 years, guys. They're increasing anywhere between 20 to 40, according to them. So every out of 40, let's just say out of 40, there's usually about 20 of them that fit this group. And they don't want to say that every tomboy is normal. Now they want to say that if you're a tomboy, you must be transgender. That's not true. Guys, I grew up with tomboys. They were just women that like to hang around, guys. And that was what we used to call them, tomboys, because they were a girl that used to like hanging around with dudes. Yeah, it doesn't mean that they're gay.
Or heavy into sports and things of that nature. Yeah, but this again, we've talked about it on other shows. The left twisting the language. As the saying goes, lies, damn lies, and statistics. They redefine the term to make it seem like there is more of them than there actually is. It's like we talked about this, I think, on your show the other day. The unemployment rate, they changed the definition of who qualifies as unemployed in order to keep the unemployment rate artificially low. What really matters is the labor participation force, which is at a record low in this nation's history, which is at a record low below the record low that the Obama-Biden administration set back then. But they distort the terminology to fit a false narrative.
Joseph, this all goes back to what, I want to go into next here with this, they're willing to change our culture, our society, and it has a lot to do with this Trump derangement syndrome, literally. Yeah. And this is my next topic I want to get into, where they're now trying to say either protect democracy or bash Trump. Pick one. That's what they're going at. Well, first of all, folks, we don't have a democracy. Get this through your fucking thick skull, right? I'm going to bring out a little Nicole rant here. Get this out of your thick skulls, folks. We do not live under a democracy. We live under a national Republican of Republic, right? Did I say that right? Mackenzie. Yes, thank you.
A limited, a constitutionally limited republic, right? But we have a House of Representatives that is directly democratically elected. That doesn't make us a democracy. That's why the U.S. Senate, until the 17th Amendment destroyed the check and balance that our founders put on it, were appointed by the state legislatures to represent the states under the 10th Amendment, because the states created the federal government, not the other way around. And I wrote on the Liberty Beacon a couple weeks ago an article about originalist federalists. They wouldn't recognize this country nowadays. We have fascist federalists now. They want a complete fascist, federalist, top-down, dictatorial government out of Washington, D.C. now. And
this country
never envisioned that.
Yeah, this country is altogether different, Joseph. I mean, if my grandparents were still alive, they wouldn't even recognize this country. They would be like, this is America? This is exactly what people voted for? This is what people are supporting? This type of garbage, this type of rhetoric, this type of nonsense? This is something that you would see in a banana republic. Literally, that's what we're seeing, folks. We are becoming a banana republic.
Yeah, we absolutely are a banana republic, and just like every, socialism always turns to communism, which always eventually turns to fascism of some sort. Now, Russia and China still call themselves communists, but they are fascist. Really, You have one person in charge of the government. That is a fascist state. And, granted, the party is still under there, but look at Putin. Putin got elected, and there was such a thing as term limits. So he was elected for 2 terms. Then he had his stooge Medvedev in there for 2 terms. And Putin was prime minister while Medvedev was president. And then when Medvedev was terminated out, Putin came back again. Putin's been in charge of that country for the last, this entire millennia, since the turn of the millennia. That is a fascist government.
Yeah, Joseph, if I may add, what would you even classify Russia to be? Like, what type of, are they a democracy? Are they a republic? Like, what do they label themselves now these days?
They are also technically a constitutional republic, but their constitution is a one-party state constitution that protects the party, not the people. So technically, and that's why I've said before in one of the previous episodes, Republican, it's right there in the word, people. It's right there. Republic. We want to protect the limited constitutional republic, and the fascocrats want to turn us into a Soviet or Chinese or North Korean fascist republic.
Yeah, Joseph, I gotta cut in every now and then, buddy. But we're on Russia right now. Did you just see? Right. The reason why I'm saying, what type of, system do they label themselves as? Because it's quite interesting that you say that they're considered a republic now these days. I look at almost as a communist nation because of the latest tactic that President Putin is now doing. He just announced a call-up that could sweep up to 300,000 citizens, right? Civilians, regular civilians, into military service. Thousands of Russians across the country received draft papers just yesterday. Joseph, they're being threatened to either join the military or either be prosecuted or murdered.
Yeah. The reports out of Russia, and again, we've got to be careful because in a war, every side has their own propaganda. So if this is true or not, I don't know, but I could believe it because I think, with Elon Musk's Starlink, they are actually getting information like they never could before. So they know what's going on. They're waking up to Putin and his atrocities.
Yeah.
And the report is that they are literally, mothers are breaking the arms or legs of their
Joseph, this was just on the New York Times, man. The New York Times, some of it's hogwash, some of it could be true, some of it can't, it's obviously false. But this is coming out right here on the New York Times. It was literally right on the front page, and it says that despite the Kremlin's crackdown on dissent, protests literally this past Wednesday night erupted across the entire country of Russia, mainly in Moscow, in the capital, near the Kremlin, where they've seen this happen before. This brought, this is nothing new, folks. You can go back to the 1940s. Everybody remember when they had their anti-draft protesters basically it was like a federal highway, near Moscow, near the capital. And they went to war, literally. This led them to a war from 1941 to 1945. A lot of people don't remember this. But
yeah, and the same thing that's happening in Iran too, because of Elon Musk's Starlink. They've got access to the World Wide Web uncontrolled and unfiltered, like in China too. The Chinese Communist Party and Google even cooperates with them to suppress things. Well, they've got Starlink, and they can actually access the U.S.'s internet and get to the facts and get to the truth. And in Iran, there is, like under Obama, there is another green revolution crept up, and they are protesting the Ayatollahs in the streets of Iran again, too, because there was a woman who was literally beaten to death just because she wasn't wearing the headscarf quite the right way. She was still wearing the headscarf, but which they are required to by law. That some fascist Ayatollah type didn't like the way she was wearing it, tried to arrest her, and they literally beat her to death over it. So Iran and hopefully Russia are indeed on the brink of civil war. But the problem is you have idiot Biden who won't back them in overthrowing their government, just like the Green Revolution happened under Obama in Iran, and he sided with the Ayatollahs. And Biden will do the same thing. They side with fellow fascists.
I seen that. She. If I got my sources correct, she was a second grade teacher, and I mean she was literally placed under hostage type of territory. Correct?
Yeah, and literally beaten to death. I mean, over something so silly as that. But that's what happens under these totalitarian governments. And Biden and the AOCs and the Rashida Tlaibs and the Elon Omars of the world want that for America.
Yeah. There's a lot of rumors coming out that North Korea. Since we're on Russia here, guys, I'm going to get back to the United States, but this is important stuff. This needs to be aired here. This needs to be addressed. That North Korea, guys, could be, and these are only rumors. Rumors could be true, they could be false. That's what a rumor is. That North Korea could be supporting arms to Moscow. Now, a lot of people are pointing that, is North Korea working with the country of Russia? Now, if that's true, folks, Ukraine, all I have to say is that we need to pray. Because if North Korea and Russia are collaborating with one another and working together and supporting arms, right? Firearms, military equipment. Do you know what that's going to do to the country of Ukraine, Joseph?
Yeah, that's why even the Pope, I'm no fan of the Pope. We've talked about him before. I created the hashtag nincompope because I think he's more a communist than a Catholic. But even the Pope is saying he fears this is indeed now the start of the Third World War because Iran is also supporting Russia. Russia is buying Iranian drones, which their drone program was born out of, again, idiot Obama. They downed a U.S. drone, back engineered it. Now they've got high-powered, very sophisticated drone program in Iran. And the Ukrainians, have shot down Iranian drones that were, being remotely piloted by the Russians. So, yeah, we may unfortunately be indeed on the brink of World War III, especially if Putin is serious that he may use nuclear weapons.
Well, did you see what the U.S. Secretary of State Blinken said just the other day? He is now begging President Biden to somewhat have a conference, maybe through Zoom or however they do it up there in Washington, to tell President Putin to stop the horror he started. They're begging. They're at this point of begging because, like you said, Joseph, we are probably in the brinks, if not already, in World War IV.
The problem is, if the reports are true, and I believe sources that tell me, because again, having written Terror Strikes Coming Soon to a City Near You, I'm a former IT guy, so it's not always what you know, it's who you know. So, like my character Martin in the book has a source that feeds him information. Well, I too have sources, that I can't name, obviously. But if the sources that tell me are are speaking the truth, that we've gotten information that Putin has indeed got a rare disorder and is dying, and he on his deathbed potentially within several years, and that is probably the disease also eating away at his brain. So we're not dealing with a stable person here.
Yeah. He's the guy is a genius, Joseph. He's a former intel officer turned president.
He's not dumb.
Hold on, Joseph. Those type of people, you really need to be, you need to caution yourself about, because these people, they mean business, folks.
Yeah, he's a hardline Soviet. He is a hardline Soviet. The days of perestroika in Russia ended with Yeltsin and the coup that overthrew him, and Putin was behind the coup to overthrow Yeltsin. And it brings to my mind the Sting song. Let us hope that the Russians love their children too, because if they go nuclear, even though Ukraine is not part of NATO. Sorry, folks. Bill Clinton signed an agreement with Ukraine that the United States is bound to defend Ukraine. That's why we're involved now. You can talk to Bill Clinton. Ukraine gave up their nuclear weapons for the promise that Bill Clinton offered the full faith and force of the United States to back Ukraine and defend Ukraine, whether they were part of NATO or not. And if a nuclear strike happens, we will have to respond.
Yeah, Joseph. I know Clinton had a lot of involvement with that, but I mean, do you think that Joe Schmo, in the office there, folks, it was a joke, Joe Biden, is going to do a damn thing about it? I mean, the guy is fragile, man. Christ, if there was ever a major conflict, do you actually think that this almost 80-year-old man can carry out military command?
No, he can't. But there's certainly some in the chain of command that may, maybe it isn't even us, but the UK or Germany or France or somebody. Again, I wrote an article on this because, again, this is Europe's problem, not America's. This is Europe's problem. They need to step up. They're the ones that need to do more. We're going broke. We've been the world's piggy bank and policemen for far too long. Get off your ass, Germany, France, Britain.
Of course we're going. Spain. We just gave Joseph. We just gave him $400 trillion. $400 trillion, folks. It's a lot of money. A T, not a billion. A T. $400 trillion. Now people are like, Mike, that's absurd. I might be off by a couple hundred, but I know it was up there.
Yeah, you are. Yeah. The entire amount of money spent by the U.S. government over the last 100 years wouldn't amount to $400 trillion.
It was probably the billions. Yeah. I know we think a lot of money.
Michael is only slightly exaggerating to make a point.
Exactly. Hold that thought, Joseph. I got to get into this because, folks, we are on iHeartRadio, so I have to put these pitches in because, they accepted our podcast here, so I have to throw these pitches in. Guys, tomorrow, September 24th, you're going to want to watch the Global Citizens Festival. That's going to be airing on YouTube, Twitter, iHeartRadio. It's going to be presented by Citi, Cisco, and their global partners, Delta, Times Live, Verizon, and YouTube, guys. Global Citizen Festival tomorrow on iHeartRadio. Guys, back on the show here. Joseph, what's going on in the UK, like you said, it's their problem. It's their issue. They have to work on it.
If it leads to a World War III and the United States has to be involved, by all means, then we should do something to protect our country. But stop putting our noses in other people's business. Let's start worrying about the real issues that are facing this country. Literally. I mean, do we have to yell it across the freaking the so-called park here in the United States up to Washington and tell Joe Biden, hey, Joe, we have inflation problems. Hey, Joe, the border's still open. You got to close the fence. You got to put another wall up there. I think we really should, because we have fentanyl issues now. We have little boys and girls that are getting hooked on fentanyl. We have homeless people that are getting hooked on fentanyl. We have homeless vets sleeping on the streets. Hey, Joe, let's stop worrying about the person that has that $600,000-$700,000 mansion in Martha's Vineyard because they have 50 migrants that are sleeping in the front of their yards and the front of their sidewalks there. Let's stop worrying about that. Let's start worrying about people that are homeless here in the country. Let's start worrying about closing the border so we don't have 50 migrants that have to be sent up to Martha's Vineyard by DeSantis. Let's start doing that. Yeah. I think anybody have a raise of hands here in the classroom? Do you think we should tell Joe Biden how to do his job accurately?
Right.
I think.
Yeah. Bueller, right? Anybody?
Yeah.
But to tie it back to the show, chaos. This is Cloward and Piven. That's what the left and unfortunately rhinos, bad Republicans want. They want the United States to go bankrupt. If the United States, the last ditch, freest and richest nation on the planet, goes bankrupt, we can't help ourselves. We won't be able to help anybody else either. So I'm all for helping here and there when we can, but we have to be, like Trump said, America first. And America first does not mean America alone or America only, but it's like when you're on the plane, right? The oxygen mask comes down. What do they say? Fix your own mask first. You have to take care of yourself first, or you are not able to help someone else.
Yeah. And former President Trump just laid that out very, very accurately. Anybody watched the rally just the other day when he was up in Ohio? Guys, we got a sound clip here we're going to plug into the show. Trump literally calling out the shots of the failures of what we're seeing with this loopy Biden administration. Check this out, guys.
401ks are collapsing, murders, shootings, stabbings, rapes, carjackings are skyrocketing. Bloodthirsty criminals are laying waste to Democrat-run cities. The southern border has been completely erased. We no longer have a border. Think of it, 2 years ago, we had the strongest border in the history of our country. We no longer have a border. Our country is being invaded. It's an invasion by millions of illegal aliens from all over the planet, and left-wing sickos are pumping toxic anti-American propaganda into the minds of our beautiful youth. They're destroying.
Now, Joseph, did you happen to watch that video clip? In your leisure. That they had a clip on Breitbart. I know Newsmax covered it, but did you? If you didn't watch the clips, did you pay attention to any parts of that rally?
I tend to wait for Newsmax or OAN or News Nation to show the highlights. I don't. We've got a Trump rally coming up in Michigan pretty soon. He's coming into the state to support Tudor Dixon for governor, Matt DePerno for AG, and Christina Caramo for Secretary of State, as well as a bunch of other, congressional and other candidates. So I prefer to watch a Trump speech like when he was president, where he doesn't go off script as much. I don't watch the rallies, and I'm not going to attend the one in Michigan I just don't want to be there with that many people. It's not like I wouldn't like to attend. It's just I'm not going to fight for parking and all that crap. So, but I don't watch the Trump rally because he goes off the deep end and off the rails and off script too much to my liking. I love a Trump speech. I'm not fond of the rallies, although, hey, they serve a great purpose, and I'm glad he's coming to Michigan.
Savaged, unfiltered.
To have one.
Well, I mean, just look at the response he's getting from people. You know, I mean, that's kind of why he has to go to that avenue. I mean, people, they love him, Joseph. They back him. Yeah, his demeanor might be off a little bit, but I mean, he gets the job done.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, he does. I mean, you look at Biden.
Yeah.
Biden couldn't fill a high school gym, and Trump is overflowing stadiums.
Yeah, I was going to say, hold that thought, Joseph. Trying to get a word in the show sometimes, guys, is impossible. I have to say, Joseph, I love you to death, man. It is. Anyway, who the hell is running the show? Sometimes Mackenzie's like, Mike, where the hell are you? Are you still there? Anyway.
Well, you get me all riled up.
I'm telling you, I can go sit in my bedroom, and then Joseph will still be talking, guys. But anyway, guys, there's a poll coming up. Hey, you're riled up, man. I got to give it to you. But listen to this poll here, guys. If I can get this poll in, it'd be great. Oh, hold on, Joseph. Go have a sandwich and a bottle of Coke or something real quick. But anyway, there's new polls that are showing favorability and unfavorability. I have to get this in, guys, because I have to show you, just where our country's going. You know, there's a political shift. Now, here is favorability of views of Donald Trump in 4 ways. 44% are showing favorable, right? Unfavorable, 53%. Don't know or refused, 3%. Now, that poll was basically the impression of Donald Trump. Here's another one. If 2024 presidential were held today, who would you vote for? Joe Biden or Donald Trump? Now, 42% are going for Donald Trump. Of it is going for Joe Biden. That's very low. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you brought up polls, because this weekend and the Liberty Beacon, I've got a piece about school reform needed now, but next weekend, the first weekend in October, I've got a piece that will be up at the Liberty Beacon about polls. Can you believe the polls? It's a reworking of something I did a few years ago. And the only polling outfit I trust at this point is Trafalgar. The other ones, and I go in depth in my article about weighting and sample sizes and all. A lot of these are push polls to make to change people or mold people's opinion and show something that isn't reality, rather than reporting truly what people are thinking. And again, there could be honest disagreements on the weighting of polls, because each election cycle is different, but we have the momentum, and they're way oversampling Democrats in these polls of late. So Trafalgar, unless if it comes from Trafalgar, they are the only ones I trust of late.
Yeah. I just had a show not too long ago with Soslin. And we were talking about polls because he was getting into the whole show. And he was like, well, there's this poll coming out of Wisconsin and a poll coming out of this and that. And I'm like, Sos, where's that poll coming from?
Yeah.
Read on the bottom. Is it a poll or is it a network poll? And he's like, it's a network poll. I was like, all right, well, where's the network coming from? CNN. I said, it's false, man. It's a narrative poll. It's not a real poll.
Exactly. It's a push poll. It's an attempt to shape opinion rather than report opinion. And the only other polling place of value, and they really don't do the polls themselves, is Real Clear Politics. You can go to Real Clear Politics and see their averaging of polls. that gives you maybe a little bit of picture. But again, garbage in, garbage out, right? If the majority of the polls are all weighted to be purposefully helping the left, then even the average is going to be slanted and tainted to the left. But like I say in my upcoming article, frankly, I want Republicans to be behind by 3, 4, 5 points, because a lot of people, if they're ahead, people will sit on their ass and not do anything. They won't open their wallet and donate to the campaigns. We need them down so people are motivated to give to the campaigns, because the left, of course, is full of dark money from Soros and Bloomberg and Stiers and Zuckerberg and all of them. So they constantly have way more money than we do to spend, and they control the media. So they control the narrative too. So it's harder for us to get our message out. People, if you've got a decent Republican candidate, you've got to help fund them. They need the funds to compete.
Yeah, by all means. Joseph, I got a special request coming in from Nicole. She was just texting me personally, as I'm talking to you on the air. She needs to have those links. She's like, send me I'm going to say it word for word here. Literally, the text came in like a couple minutes ago. Thank you, Mackenzie, for giving in that text. Basically saying that, hey, send me one of Joe's links. I will listen to it tomorrow when I go on for my run. So when she's running around the park near her house, she wants to, check out some of the links in her leisure time. So when we get off the air, send me those links, buddy.
Yeah, I don't have much in the way of vlogs, and what we're talking about today, I don't have a vlog. So I've got links to articles. So she can't listen to unless if she has an app read her the article while she's out. I suppose that's possible.
She can multitask, as you can hear it on the show. She's a multi speaker too. But
and that polls article won't be out until, like I said, the first weekend in October. So that one's kind of one to look forward to. But I mean, we pretty much discussed what's going to be in it. Everything we've talked about the clear a push poll. There's the other term I was looking for. Not only it's known as a push poll, where they're rigging a poll to shape opinion rather than report on actual sentiment of the nation as it stands now. And we have the enthusiasm. Yeah, right.
I was about to say, Joseph, we got into push polls a few episodes back. I hope everybody knows the difference between a push poll and an analyst poll. There's a big difference.
Yeah,
big difference.
There is, absolutely. And that's why I wanted to write that article for the Liberty Beacon for the first weekend of October, because a lot of people still don't know these things. They're not political, not into the politics to the degree you and I are, Mike. They've got lives, but that's part of the point of these shows is people. You may not like politics, and you may not think that you've got much influence over politics, but damn it, politics sure as hell are shaping your life, whether you want it to or not. You've got to get off your ass and be involved. What little time you can, you've got to dedicate some time.
Yeah, I think politics comes across their mindsets, but I mean, for instance, just the other day I was talking to somebody, about politics, and he got into a conversation with me, and he was like, who do you think is going to run for 2024? Is it going to be DeSantis, Trump? I was like, if it comes down to that, if Trump's running, I think he's automatically going to go probably to either DeSantis. I've heard some rumors with South Dakota's governor. I've heard some rumors about Greg Abbott. There's so many different names that he can pick for the vice president. But if it goes the other way around and DeSantis says, I just want to, I want to fucking run, I served Florida well and I want to run for president. Now, if DeSantis runs, I heard he could be possibly picking Trump, or he might go somewhere else. Now, as we got into this, what Joseph's talking about, they'll talk to it to a point, and then they'll be like, oh, I don't want to talk about it. I don't get into politics. I don't like politics. Well, I know you might not like politics, but, politics now have become a thing of our society, a thing of our culture. We need to think about politics more than ever now because of where our country's driven to, right? Where it's going to, right? If we don't elect the right politics, we're literally going to assassinate our own country. We're going to create our own suicidal agenda, right? We're going to bury our country. We need to think about politics. We need to elect the right leadership and this and that. This is what I was trying to explain to him. And he was like, whoa, buddy, you're getting to a whole different angle. I'm like, well, that's the way you need to think about it.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. And, I'm sure I like DeSantis, but I'd prefer to see Kristi Noem be Trump's VP. Then we can have 8 years of the first Margaret Thatcher-like female president and Kristi Noem for 8 years. She could then pick DeSantis to be VP. Then after her 8 years, he could be president for 8 years. We need something like that. But going to Florida and Texas all the time, we've had far too many the right thinking. Florida and Texas is always our savior. And in electoral politics is what really matters. We don't need Florida and Texas. Those should be in our column automatically. So a Kristi Noem can help with the battleground states in the flyover country and away from it's not the same old Florida and Texas. People are tired of Florida and Texas. No offense to you and your fellow Floridians, because I know you live there. But I think you understand what I mean. All the control that's come out of Florida and Texas, people want a change of pace. And that's one of the things people loved about Trump, about being a different person and being not politician. And he wasn't the traditional, chain migration, so to speak.
Well, he signed the other day, Joseph. I seen on the road, and it says, please make United States Florida. What do I mean by that? Because Florida, it's like another country. We don't have mass mandates. We don't have companies enforcing the vaccines. We don't have any of that garbage. We don't have any of this this tyranny in the state. DeSantis is literally running the state, Joseph, like it was another country. I mean, literally, if Florida becomes its own country tomorrow, DeSantis would be the president or king of this country.
Yeah, which is not to say, though, that there aren't some blue enclaves like Broward County and places like that in Florida. Same with Texas. You've got Dallas and Houston. Those are deep blue enclaves in Texas. So, there's red and blue mixed everywhere. But yeah, no, I agree with that sentiment. We certainly want to make the United States Florida. We don't want to make the United States California like idiot Gavin Newsom would make us.
Oh God. I heard, was it last night? Yeah, last night around like 9 p.m. And he's been going on Newsmax a lot because they've been killing his platform out there in San Francisco. And one of the gals there, the anchor, I forgot her name. There's like 2 or 3 of them, like these 2 women that always interview Savage. And they were asking Savage, like, where do you think Newsom's going to go now in the political message? And he goes, oh, God help us. God help us. If this state hasn't become communist, it already is communist, Crazy stuff.
Yeah.
But Joseph, I'm pretty much out of words here. I was just joking, by the way. I do love when you come on the show, but buddy, you got to let me come in every now and then. I love you, man. But you got to put a period and commas after your sentences, man. I'm just joking.
Yeah. Well, I know. Well, look in the mirror, buddy, because you're the one that gets me all riled up and on these rants.
Oh, I do. Oh, because Mackenzie like said this off the air, and Mackenzie was like, "How does Joseph get?" I don't know, man. I was like, I think he just does that. I didn't think it was me. So wow, I got a
Yeah.
good influence, I guess.
Well, again, yeah, I mean, I don't normally get this way on the other shows. It is indeed pretty much you and your show. And like I say, especially because I have to be, it's kind of like Jekyll and Hyde, Dr. Jekyll on terrestrial, and my Mr. Hyde comes out when I'm on with you.
I was about to say that the Frankenstein comes out when you're on this show, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know, Joseph, how do you keep your composure on that radio network?
Yeah, well, the other hosts help too, because again, you get me riled up because you get a bit riled up too. Whereas on terrestrial, the other hosts, it's pretty monotone. Everybody's the same tone, and we kind of keep each other at a lower level. So, whereas with your show, Savage Unfiltered, the inner savage and unfiltered comes out.
Yeah, and Joseph is very savage and unfiltered on this show, so it's great. At first, Jimmy was like, Jimmy Durant, which I'm trying to get him back on. His schedule is crazy. He was supposed to be on this Tuesday. He had some kind of thing with his family, and I get it. But we're gonna try to get him on this Sunday, because this Sunday, folks, we're going to be doing a live iHeart Radio. That's right, guys. We're gonna be on iHeart Radio live. So as you hear me talking, it's gonna be completely live. So it's gonna reach a hell of a lot higher audience reach. I mean, not that we don't. I mean, this show does extremely well on platforms, Spotify, and the two dominating platforms before we picked up Pandora and iHeart was Spotify and Amazon Music, and we're still doing extremely well on Amazon, Spotify. But I hate to say, Joseph, that fucking iHeartRadio, man, it's literally now dominating over Spotify. So that's some good stuff, man.
Yeah, like I generally don't bother with Spotify. I really don't. Occasionally I do, because a lot of different shows are on it, but on my phone is the iHeartRadio app. That's the app I've got. I don't have Anchor on my phone. I wouldn't put Anchor on my phone, but iHeartRadio is there.
Network. Yeah, of course not. But we had just the other day, somebody basically posted something on TikTok, which I know you don't have TikTok, and you told me why you don't have TikTok. But hey, it's okay. It's not for everybody. But somebody posted something on TikTok the other day, and they were like, "We heard the deflection from the Radical Left episode with you and Joseph on iHeartRadio." And I was like, "Oh, wow." Like responding back, "Oh, wow." And then he responds to me like, "We need more Savage Unfiltered on iHeartRadio." So right after that comment, Joseph, I had an email come from iHeartRadio saying that we're thinking about giving you, a spot live on iHeartRadio. I'm like, "Oh, wow." There's a certain link that you have to plug in, similar to like Anchor FM, how we broadcast it on here on Anchor FM. There's a certain link you can do it. Mackenzie knows. She told me like how we have to do it. Similar to our old video broadcasting days on Restream, which, by the way, folks, we are going back to Restream after the new year. Wait till you see the fucking set. Wait till you see this set, Joseph. It's tremendous. We've been building it up. I mean, I have a lot of talent with construction material and stuff like that. We've been building up this set like literally for like the last almost month now. We have different panels that we've been doing. It's gonna look really, really nice.
Yeah, the thing I like about Restream is indeed, they us as guests can also link to like I do the YouTube channel and my Facebook page, so that we can stream it also. That helps bring additional audience to the show. Whoever you bring on also restreams it to people who follow them. That helps open you up to a little more of an audience, and then hopefully they become permanent consumers of Savaged Unfiltered.
Yeah, but I mean, we've been doing good for the audio. One of the reasons. So.
Yeah. Well, it's the damn deep state. We're just talking about things that they don't want us to talk about.
Well, I guess I don't know what it is. But like I said, we're gonna close it out, man. It was great. Nicole, she times, but she's damn good what she does.
Yeah,
got to get her back on soon. But anyway, guys,
she was a hoot. It was great hearing her.
Yeah. She was great. But that announcement, I don't know what the hell. Like I said, it scared the hell out of me. But anyway, we're gonna close it out here. Joseph, thank you. I'm out of words. An hour and 40 minutes. It's a show.
Well, we never
guys,
never made it to that other graphic you made about the Martha's Vineyard hypocrisy again, but you've already done a few other shows on that. We talked about that during that in general in the deflection episode, and I know you and Sauce had a border issues episode 319, so I'm sure you covered it thoroughly in there.
Yeah, I don't want to cover that too much. I think we covered it enough. But Joseph, we're going to close it out, man. I want to make an announcement before we leave, guys. Check us out this Monday. We're going to have first, before we have him on, Joseph, you're available Monday, right?
Oh yeah, I am.
Okay. So guys, I want to make sure, because I don't want to say Joseph and then all of a sudden he's not on. But anyway, guys, check us out this Monday. As we're re-inviting the Therapy Twins, Joan and Jane, this Monday afternoon, guys. They're a hoot. They're funny. They're full of humor. They're comical. They're known as the Therapy Twins. They've been in several movies. They're full of comedy, guys. I highly suggest you check that out on any platform now, including iHeartRadio and Pandora. Everywhere, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in to Savage Unfiltered with myself, Michael Gardner, and the author of Terror Strikes, coming to a city near you, Joseph M. Leonard. Thanks very much, guys. We'll see you Monday afternoon.
All right. Love you, brother.